How do you best prepare for law school? You've got it in, you've got it accepted, you are excited, and you are ready to start law school this fall, but how do you go about making sure that you're financially prepared to be the best law school student that you can be? We're going to talk about that today. For those of you who are new, my name is Sydney Montgomery, and I am the founder of S. Montgomery Admissions Consulting, a brand underneath the Barrier Breakers faith-based nonprofit, and we specialize in working with first-generation and minority law school applicants. And today we're talking about money because honestly, I feel like the time period before starting law school can be some of the most stressful periods of time when it comes to understanding your financial life, your new financial future as it relates to being a law school student. And it's also a time period that people don't often talk about. It's a weird gray zone period. You're a 0L, if you will. And unless you're doing SEO law, which is a fellowship program that employs you 8 to 10 weeks before you start law school at a big law firm, so you're making tons of money. Most students don't have a ton of money before they start law school, but there are a lot of upfront expenses, and your financial aid does not kick in if you've taken out loans or if you're receiving grants or scholarships. A lot of times you won't be able to access that money until September. However, you may have to move across the country. Maybe you have to get an apartment and you have to put down first and last month's rent and a security deposit. You have books you need to pay for. You may think that you want a new wardrobe, which we can talk about that. Oftentimes, you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of money or any money on a new wardrobe before you start law school. But you might, however, have other moving expenses, like maybe you need furniture. Maybe this is the first time that you're getting an apartment. That was me. I was 21 when I started law school and I needed to buy a bed. There's surprisingly so many things that you need to buy when you move into an apartment for the first time that just appeared in my house growing up, and I was like, oh, I must buy this. Like pot holders. Not a super expensive item, but an item that you need nonetheless. And pots. Right? If you're cooking. There were just so many little things. I wanted a rug and, I had a living room for the first time and I had a bathroom and my bathroom needed rugs. There were all these things, none of which was in my budget. So I wanted to have this conversation with you today so we could talk about finances. And it's no surprise that we are going to start with that B word, budget, because having a plan is one of the most important things that you can do when you're thinking about financially preparing for law school. First, talk about making a budget and what does that even look like and what resources are available to you. So I am, no surprise, going to talk to you about my good friends at AccessLex because AccessLex has so many resources available for this very topic. So let's dig into it. AccessLex has something called Max PreLaw. And if you're like, how do I get there? I first just went to accesslex.org and I scrolled all the way to the bottom of their website. And under Student Center, I clicked Aspiring Law Students. It brought me right here. And they say, Ask Edna, the education network at AccessLex. Insight and information for every step of your law journey. Cool. I'm going to click Get Started. And it's going to bring me to Ask Edna, the education network at AccessLex. I also could have clicked on Max PreLaw by AccessLex. And that would have brought me here. And I, yet again, would have clicked Ask Edna, which again is the education network at AccessLex. And I would have clicked Get Started. Both of these links take me to the same page. And you'll see this first section here is Max Personal Finance for Law Students. Max is offered at over 185 law schools across the U.S. If you register, you get a lot of information, but you can see they have a video on building your law school budget, managing debt and credit for bar admission, my law school financial plan. Now, this is completely free, so let's walk through this. Okay, if I register, I click the enroll button. I am a new user, so I'm going to register and I'm going to make my profile. It asks you if you're a law school student, a pre-law student, a school or staff, unaffiliated user, all of that good stuff. So you are probably going to choose law school student if you are incoming, and you are going to click next. It's going to ask you for what law school you go to. You're going to choose whatever law school you go to and your law school enrollment year. I'm just making this up. And we're going to click register. I graduated Harvard Law School in 2018. I did not start, though, in 2018. Okay, so now it says you've been enrolled successfully. There's so much more inside. We can view my courses or start learning now. So I can click Start Learning Now, and you can see that there are a lot of different things that you can do. You can register to access hundreds of lessons, tools, resources, online events, all of those good things, which is really great. I'm going to click that Register Now button. I'm going to go back to my courses and learning plans, and you can see there are now 221 items available to me in my Ask Edna Education Network at AccessLex. So there's the Max PreLaw course, Financial Foundations. What is really cool is that this is going to tell you the tangible, beneficial steps you can take during law school to put yourself on a path to financial security. Building a strong foundation in money management, and it will uncover the building blocks of financial capital, unlock the power of interest, and set your financial goals with your future law career in mind. Very cool. What is also really cool is that by doing these videos, and these are all free, you can earn entry into the Max Scholarship Drawing. So you earn one entry into the Max Scholarship Drawing for each of the 8 components listed in this course. You also earn entries for attending Max events. You can read more about the $380,000 in scholarship drawings held throughout the academic year. You can also always schedule time with a Max coach, and this is one-on-one financial coaching. So if you have questions, if you're like, I'm really overwhelmed about how to financially prepare for my life in a couple of months, or next month rather, or if you're really struggling, you can schedule a free call with one of their accredited financial coaches, and they will help you with your situation. I really like the lesson on building your law school budget, which is really helpful. In that course on building your law school budget, it will actually help you create a financial plan during law school. And it will give you tools for every different budgeting style, okay? And so I would really recommend that you would do that. Of course, it's identifying money coming in, understanding the cost of attendance, and it'll help you start to budget some of things like living and other expenses, food, rent, transportation, books and supplies, health insurance, miscellaneous. Maybe you've got credit card debt or other kind of loans that you need to take care of. Like I said, maybe you have upfront moving costs. All of those things are things that you can budget. It helps you learn how to make your student loan refunds last all year, and then project money going out and find your spending leaks. If you have a budget and you're like me, and I will be honest with you, when I first started budgeting, I budgeted and it just, I don't know what happened. I'd be like, but I budgeted this. But then I'd realize like, oh, there was that time that I was really hungry and got takeout. Or, there was that time when I went with a friend on an impromptu day trip or something like that. Whatever it is, right? And none of that stuff was in my budget. It doesn't mean that I can't do it. But when I first started learning how to budget, I didn't actually budget for extra things. So I actually use You Need a Budget, YNAB, for my budgeting. YNAB is actually free for the first year if you have a .edu account. And so if you already have your law school email address, you can get YNAB for the first year for free. And YNAB, it's a zero budget system, right? So it gives every dollar a job. And what I love about YNAB is that you can actually budget things like, here's my extra spending money, whatever it is. You can set some money aside for that. Or you can even put, your extraneous spending on a prepaid card if you want. So you're not feeling like, oh my God, I can't have any fun. I am really stressed because I have to stick to this exact budget. Like, I feel like those are the emotions that people have when it comes to budgeting. They feel really restricted. So I really like YNAB, or You Need a Budget, because what it does is it actually gives you that freedom to say, okay, I know that I like to get my hair done. Listen, I got my hair done still every 2 weeks in law school. And I know that that's a line item in my budget. It gives you control where you can still have that freedom and flexibility, but you're not overblowing your budget so that you're not stressed about money. So I really recommend YNAB. It also is a program that has a lot of information, resources. It has webinars, like there's an entire learn section. They have a blog, they have guides. If you go to ynab.com/college, you'll actually see that free YNAB for college students. So you get a free year, and all you need is a .edu account. It's not just for undergrad college students. So I'm a grad student, medical resident, international student, part-time college student. Do I qualify? Sure thing, as long as you're in college. So I think there's a lot of really great benefits that you can take advantage of, both with YNAB and with AccessLex. So doing the AccessLex budget, of course, is tailored to the law school process. I also want to make sure that you're aware of the Max events. And so they have an event. Let's say you're like, okay, this is really great, and I know I need a budget, but I'm pretty overwhelmed. They have some live classes. So there's a Max event, Building Your Law School Budget. It's, 45 minutes, but you actually can sign up for a specific time. So you'll see the next one is actually happening Thursday, August 10th, 2 p.m. Eastern. There's one on Thursday, August 22nd at 4 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, September 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern, and Tuesday, October 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern. After the event, you'll get to enter your scholarship code. Those codes are offered during the live events, so you'll get access and entered into their scholarship entry. They are going to unpack 5 practical budgeting steps and 2 different budgeting approaches so you can get started. So if you're like, I really want to get started on budgeting, but honestly, I'm super overwhelmed, I don't know where to begin, you can go to one of those live events. I'm going to continue to remind you that AccessLex has free one-on-one financial coaching. So if you're like, okay, Sydney, but I'm super overwhelmed right now, today I'm in my feelings, I have no idea how I'm moving to law school, I can't afford anything, book an appointment at AccessLex. They would be more than happy to talk to you if you're starting law school in the fall. Also, if you're a pre-law student, if you're like, I'm applying to law school and I'm overwhelmed by the finances, AccessLex has free financial coaching for you. So that's really important to know. It is free. It is free 99, free. And it's not just like free one time. Like if you need to schedule a second appointment, it's still free. It's just a free financial resource for you. AccessLex is really like, we stan AccessLex because they are trying to help you get your coins. And as a nonprofit, we love other nonprofits that are trying to help you get and keep your coins. So we are very excited about that. So definitely there are 3 resources that I've kind of put out today. The Max PreLaw Ask Edna resources, there's courses, there's live events, and there's the one-on-one free financial consulting or counseling. And then there's YNAB, you need a budget. That 3rd resource that I want to give to you is looking at things to reduce some of your costs. So I mentioned earlier about like maybe the wardrobe that you think that you need or books. One of the biggest myths is that you have to go out and buy all these new suits when you are starting law school, and that's not true. You don't need to do that. You should not do that. You know, a good blazer is, and some dress pants, dress skirts, or dress is totally fine. Whatever, you know, if you look like you go to church, it's totally fine. A good blazer is important. I remember when I got a lot of my suits, I actually went to K&G. It's K&G Superstore. They're actually known for men's suits, but they have a huge selection of women's suits. And I would get like buy one suit, get one suit free. Like it was fantastic and it fit my budget and it was really helpful. But you also do not need to go out and buy new suits. You don't need to do it. You really don't need to do it. There are also a lot of organizations that have like Dress for Success for lower income women that need help getting blazers and jackets and all of those things. So definitely take a look at some of those local resources. And then in terms of books, I would highly recommend trying to rent your books. I rented a lot of my books. I also got online versions or ebooks, which was really helpful for me because I could control F, I could highlight in different colors. But Chegg has some really good textbook rental situations. Amazon does great textbook rental situations. Honestly, Google is your friend. So if you know what the book is, I would just Google the book title, the edition, make sure you're getting the right edition number, and rentals, and see kind of what happens and what comes up, because you can save a lot of money with textbook rental instead of purchasing books new or even ebooks if that's your thing. I love a good ebook because I was not trying to take all my heavy books with me to class. It was too much. I just couldn't do it. We had lockers, but that was all the way. It was just too much. So for me, ebooks were really my jam. I had my textbooks at home, but I used my ebooks in class. And that was a really good system for me. But I also rented everything. I like bought basically nothing brand new. If I couldn't rent it, I bought it super used. I was fine with other people's highlights and notes. The more information, they were probably really smart. They probably helped me. So I bought nothing new. I would recommend not buying anything new because it's a waste of money. It is going to depreciate in value almost immediately. And you're like never really going to recoup the money like when you sell it. So I highly recommend trying to reduce your costs as much as you can with textbooks. And then there's other videos that I've done on like jobs to work during 1L year. So that's something to think about too as you're creating your budget. And also like ways that you can maybe reduce costs, like reduce some of your moving costs, or sometimes graduation parties or I'm going off to law school parties are great ways to remind your family and friends that please send me some money by way of gift card so that I can help with some of my moving expenses. So I know that there's a lot of things to think about as you're thinking about financially preparing for law school, but I want to empower you that there are tools, there are resources, there are people, there are free financial counselors that are here to help you through that process, and also ways that you can cut your costs. And like I said, there are other videos on ways that you can increase your resources through getting a job, but cutting costs is always ideal, and having a good budget and a good plan is going to make you feel very prepared. So if you have questions, make sure that you reach out to me, or you can reach out to AccessLex. They are the money people. Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on our podcast. Share this with a friend. As always, like I say, we're a nonprofit. If you want to support us, you can always go to barrier-breakers.org/donors. Otherwise, we hope this video was very helpful, and we cannot wait to see you soon.